Howard, come through. Broadcastman. Ding, 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 ding.
Singomama ndifundise ungena nenjecaweni kodwa ndivumeleni ngoku ndingene nenjecaweni. Singomama othema ndingene nenjecaweni kodwa ngoku zidwesha nezidwangube zomzi wako wethu mlisela nomthinjana ndivumeleni ndondlalele ledyongwana. Kaloku ndithi kwedini tshathubekho mani. Kuba kaloku namhlanje kuzochubungulwa ameve ebuchotsheni. Kaloku namhlanje uzasinika ukutya kwengqondo. Kaloku namhlanje uzasinika ilifa elingunaphakade. Namhlanje uzosihlahlela indlela engumkhomba ndlela eya kwampumelelo. Hayi mani makwedini andiniva. Yini nabafazi yeyaphi na inimba? Oh madoda. Kukude kwedini ebhakubha. Ndinika imfene yam uthatha ityathanga lakho. Ndiyeke ndibhekele. Kuba kaloku oBerita bale ndaba bazode bandicela ikiss.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know it is for the first time. Most of you only hear my name today. But I want to tell you this as I stand before you. It is not my power that I'm here. It is the grace of those we can never see with our naked eyes. Allow me just to reintroduce myself. I am a young man whom at the age of 16 I saw my father's eyes for the very same time. It was April the 16th. 30 days later, the very same man who had left my mother to work alone and had to raise me as a domestic worker passed on the day in which we celebrate Youth Day. Now I am raised by bottles my mother used to pick up at night, for she can only get the job and provide food that we so needed. Allow me to also say that I come not from a very privileged school, but a local school in Mount Township, Jegekana Secondary School, from a small town, or rather small section called Emapeshane, where the Tongas pride themselves in their culture and their heritage. That is not who I am, but that is what has made me to be who I stand to be. To most of us, where we are today, it is the circumstances in which we were exposed to growing up that it became our reality and became the only thing we see as real. Thus, we can never think beyond our parameters or the walls that have been built for us. Thus, to you, when you stand proud and you announce yourself as a child to say you are young, black, and powerful, to some people is an intimidation, but to some, this is what our ancestors dreamt of, and this is what our ancestors are proud of, for they can never live to witness it, but we today have that opportunity. One may take one as though, but how can Howard say he is young, black, and powerful, whereas before, for him to say that it was meant to undermine him for who he is. At that time, it was used to look down to him as a man, and not just as a man, but as a slave who can only work for one man, a man whom believed that a black man is inferior. The secret to any man or any woman to be successful is in the mind. Our parents grew up in an era in which dreams can never come true. In an era in which they were never taught to open a book and read, because that to them was not learning. Learning to them meant that they have to sweat day in and day out, and their fathers had to be muscular fit so that they can show indeed that is hard work to them. We may be scared of where our world is going, but if there's one thing we must never be scared of, is our mentality. Because the greatest slavery of any person is a mind that is consumed with nothing but negativity, fears, and lack of creativity. When I wrote my first book, Young, Black and Powerful, I wrote it at the time I was living in a shack. And I remember most of the time my little sister and I would cry because every time it rained, it means that we had to protect our little furniture because the water would always pour in at every night. But it's during those times, hard as it was, I kept on writing with a pen and paper. Not proud to say this, but at that time, I never even knew how to operate a Microsoft Word. I never even knew what a laptop is. But what I knew was burning in my heart, and that was to write the very first book, Young, Black and Powerful. Not only to affirm myself as a young black man, but also to affirm every young person in whichever background or society or community in which you are coming from. It does not matter what the skin color is. What matters rather is what is kept in the internal. And that is one thing that no man or no woman can ever take away from you. Wanted to write the very second book, Lessons from a Domestic Worker. Narrating our own stories and our own struggles and pain, because our parents, for example, the only form of hard work that they knew is the one that I've explained before. So my mother herself used to think that if someone is to write a book, they need to be well off. They need to be coming from a very rich family. But I was only coming from a shack in a township ordinary, just as an ordinary township or society in which this place may be in today. Now one may then wonder, what is it that kept me going up until this moment? What keeps an individual going up until this point, even when there were struggles? I finally took the book and said, I have finally written a book. Can you please include me in your bookstores? I was told, at that time I was very short. And I remember the lad said to me, you are still very young. You're only 15 years of age. Who cares about what you've written? You do not even have a matric certificate. You don't have any brand or any image that we can use to sell your story. So their concern was rather more on that, do I meet the criteria in which they wish authors can reach, but not what I had written inside. That's the very same book, and the message, it has sold 750 copies by myself. Not by my power, but the grace above, and also doing something out of my passion. The very second book that has came out as well, not available in any bookstore, but I cannot let that stop me, because the world we're living in right now, it only needs your Facebook account. You take nice pictures, you post them, not for the like, but to brand yourself and be proud of what you're selling until you are recognized. Because most of us are waiting for opportunities to come at a point in time in which we feel it is the perfect time. Well, unfortunately, there is no favorable circumstance or any favorable condition that is going to favor you and what you want to do. You need to create that space for you. That which I saw Entrepreneurs Connect, and I realized and I came up with this term that defines the work that I'm doing. It is a term in which everybody sitting right there has and carries, which is called talentpreneurship. I developed my raw talent of public speaking when I was a young donor doing grade 9, and I would speak to my school assembly and go around Gauteng speaking to learners, not aware that at that time I was already building my talent. I then developed the raw talent of public speaking into writing, then used the writings for people who buy books, who are then readers, now become customers. Then that is what a talentpreneur is, someone who develops the raw talent and connects it into business. Hence right now when I try to speak, there's a certain amount in which I cannot announce because I have to send out invoices, so I might scare some of you. However, that is where we are headed, ladies and gentlemen. Because to most of us sitting right here, we have our own talents. And what we were told is that when you are doing the very same talent that you're passionate about, you are told this is just a hobby. This is something to play with. This is something only you can use just to have fun. But I tell you this, the world we're going into, it does not care about your qualification. It does not care about the degree that you hold. It cares more about the value in which you're carrying. Now, if you think and you wonder why we have such a high rate of unemployment, is that we are all trained and taught in the very same way. Hence, we cannot use our own degrees to work to our advantage. We cannot use the very same qualification we have to think of opening our own businesses, to think of starting our own entrepreneurial journey. Why? Because how can an entrepreneur be taught on how to start a business, but you're still having a CV to apply for a job? If I am crazy, please tell me to step outside. If I'm still making sense, I believe I still have 5 more minutes to preach. Because the world that we're going into needs the very first thing, which is this: passion. People who are passionate are people who work on what their God-given talents are. These are people who are not qualified, and these are people who do not hold degrees. Hence, I myself am not proud to say this, but I'm a first-year dropout. The reason for that is that I found my gift and I found my niche. I saw no need for my parents to waste any more money on institution, whereas they can use the very same money to fund the passion and fuel me going forward. Then the first thing is passion. The second thing that I'll speak on, which can never change, is creativity. Creativity to me simply means that the world in which we're living into, the systems have already been set. The question now is, how do we then come on board, either with our talents, either with our gifts, to then say, let me then take something that has already been existing and use it to my advantage. Hence, right now I'm able to write my books, publish them by myself without having any publishers, without having any bookstores. Hence, that is creativity. But the first product to it is passion. Last but not least, it's called time management. We are one generation that thinks we are smart because we are able to use our apps and apply or account or open so many accounts, but we cannot manage our own time. It's young people. We think we are smart when we are multitasking, but when you are not aware, or rather what we are not focusing on, is that the more you multitask is rather the more you procrastinate. Because what you do is, you're gonna start this today, tomorrow you wake up, you start doing the same thing. But we're thinking, no, this is our time. So it means that the more I can multitask, the more I'm smarter. But trust me, you're wasting your time and energy. Rather you focus only on one thing. And time management also speaks to discipline. Discipline therefore means the time that you have set should also have a break-even point. Just like when you're a student, you are told that you're going to have finished your degree in 4 years. Evidently, it's obvious that you're going to study for 4 years. Then after 4 years, you are then able to get a job that can fund the things that you want, buy you a house, get you a car. Now, the sad thing again about us as people is that we think success is when we have debit orders coming month in and month out, and we're thinking the jobs that we're having are actually helping us. But what you are not aware is that time and again, you are slaving yourself to doing things to have a lifestyle which you cannot even afford. Then that is what we call success. And I have just one passage I want to share with you before I step off. Not sure if you will relate, but if you do relate, I hope this will definitely bring out something out of you. We are a generation of happy emojis, but sad realities. We dance our souls off every weekend, hoping to find the situation at home different. We put on makeup to cover our scars from the inside, change hairstyle, but do nothing to our mindset. So many artificial updates, but users remain the old version. We see entertainment more important than knowledge. Thus we plan weekends better than our future. We then wake up to check notifications of the created before greeting the creator of all. Running out of data means losing connection with loved ones. So we rather lose our culture than a network signal. We clung not in our phones, but the people we have attached by means of cell numbers. We are living in times where you can tell a lot about what a person is going through by viewing a status than in a conversational text. We could have very well been in the same taxi, heading to the same direction, but we have not met. We find ourselves boring so much so that we rather do video calls than meeting the person Gatherings have become a place of updating those who are absent. Hence we attend physically, but mentally we are not present. We serve a so-called fast and relevant God that has taught us to abbreviate words and take screenshots to look smart. Then we make a mockery out of others by what we call memes. The message of the Creator has been deemed marginalized, that he is out of date. Thus we idolize the created. I have never been in a prison cell, but the greatest prison we're sitting in is with an absent soul. Just want to thank you for your time, and I hope you guys get a copy of this. Thank you very much.